Political reaction from Democrats and Republicans unified in condemning anti-Semitism.
However, with the spotlight on Chicago as the home of the suspect, there are critics who are raising questions. They say Mayor Johnson and others who have supported Palestinian protests that their words today do not match their actions. More now from our political reporter, Marianne Ahern. Marianne?
Good evening. Mayor Johnson reached out to Jewish leaders today, personally offering condolences. But less than a month ago, Johnson wore a Palestine scarf at an event celebrating Arab heritage. Then the Chicago Jewish Alliance said the mayor was tone deaf.
Extremism on both ends are detrimental and harmful to our humanity. I am not connected to any level of extremism on the right or the left.
Mayor Brandon Johnson denounced the shooting in Washington, D.C., taking the lives of 2 Israeli embassy staffers. At the same time, when he wore the Palestinian scarf, a kiafa, last month, as well as casting the vote that broke the city council tie in supporting Gaza, critics are wary of his support for Jews today. Those critics note the suspect from Chicago once associated with 2 socialist groups that participated in the same May Day rally several weeks ago that the mayor attended.
There's a long history of the city of Chicago leading the effort to ensure that workers are valued and seen. That's what the May Day rally was about.
I spoke briefly with the mayor.
Alderwoman Deborah Silverstein and Alderman Ray Lopez react.
There's been a lot of hateful rhetoric, and that has to stop.
We have to be willing to stand up and tell them that they are wrong, to show support for who they are trying to target, and to say no.
And in Washington, D.C.,
we are overwhelmed with the grief for 2 beautiful souls. But we must be inspired by their spirit and their example.
Congressman Brad Schneider spoke emotionally alongside other Jewish members of Congress.
We must stand to ensure their memory is always a blessing. We cannot let their death be in vain. We must stand up against hate.
Governor Pritzker also posted on social media today saying Americans of all backgrounds have an urgent obligation to stand for peace and reject bigotry in all of its forms. Stefan?
Marianne Ahern with us tonight. Thank you, Marianne. We want to read you a statement that we got tonight from CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. And it reads in part, "We stand squarely against vigilante violence, even against those who may be complicit in genocide. We also reject the cynical attempts to link an act of a lone wolf to the movement of tens of thousands of peaceful anti-genocide protesters in our streets and schools." If you'd like to read the full statement, you can go to our website, nbcchicago.com. We have more stories about the couple that was killed there in Washington and the investigation happening at the suspect's home here in Chicago.